signs in the sun, moon, and stars. Here we are, family, back on Stellarium, hunting the signs for the return of Messiah Yeshua. First sign that we're going to look at today is the moon and Vesta in the constellation of Leo. Now, this is going to take place, excuse me, this is going to be a little difficult. I'm still doing this in my car, but I finally got some stuff that I needed to be able to pull this off. It's been very difficult, so bear with me. We're going to get back on track, and we're going to break down all these heavenly signs for you and help to get more detail on the Mazzaroth and the understanding of how all these things connect. So the first thing we're looking at here is Vesta, the asteroid, aligning with the moon on meridian 6:17, which is tomorrow, 6:54 a.m. Portland time. So adjust that based on where you live. And what we're going to do here is take a look at the rest of the main planets and the sun and the moon position on this same day, which is tomorrow. And another thing that I noticed is on the 15th, which I have as Shavuot on the celestial gospel calendar, is the day that the sun enters into the Silver Gate. And it really depends on what you consider the Silver Gate. It can start earlier, but if you get into Stellarium and you look at the Milky Way, then you can get an idea of the width of what we call the Silver Gate. Now, the gate is actually in the very center, so what we're going to do here is we're going to show you how that works. And it just so happens that we're looking at the summer solstice as the center of the gate. I believe it's on the 21st that it actually hits the center. There we go. Let's come back to the 0 point. Excuse me while I do this, fam. Okay, so what we're looking at here is the sun in the Silver Gate at, let's go ahead and take this to meridian. Okay, so here we are, and this is the actual center of the Silver Gate. And what I mean by center is if you were to scroll back, and you can do this yourself on Stellarium, and you look at the width of the stars that make up the Milky Way, and how the brightness, you know, it's like a river. in the heavens, and you can tell where the riverbank is. And so by looking at the stars, you can measure where the middle is. And in ancient times, this was also known as the center of the gate by three points. It's actually 4 points, but there's 3 points that are really stick out. And the first point is the tip of Gemini, the foot of Gemini. And then you can see here, while we're on meridian, you can see how this all lines up. The hand of Auriga and the club of Orion. And then some people also say Zeta Tauri, the bull's horn, is sort of that 4th point. And you could make a cross in here, but it doesn't actually line up as well as the foot and the hand and the club. And you can see that here, that the foot, let's get in a little closer. You can see that it's right here on meridian, right at the tip of the foot. And let's go ahead, scroll up a little bit so you can see how it goes right over the center of the club of Orion, and then it's right over the center of the hand of Auriga. And these points are all there, I believe, to point us to a very specific position. And this is the center of the Silver Gate. And it aligning on the summer solstice, or the first day of summer, is a great and wondrous sign for us. And so for those of you who have seen my past videos on the gates and the portals, these are very special days. Typically, when you're doing Mazzaroth and the understanding of the Silver Gate and the Golden Gate, typically the understanding is that things come down into our realm, this physical plane, from the heavenly plane, on that gate time. And then on the opposite side, the Golden Gate, it was the opposite, where things from our physical realm went into the heavenly realm. And there's all kinds of Egyptian teachings on how the gates worked in that way. And there's many Mazzaroth videos and books and explanations out there of how these gates are tied into resurrection, and also how the angels use these gates for transportation. So we can see here, we can see here how the sun coming up on 6/21 at 1:12 in the morning, and this is all Portland time. The sun is going to be on the center of the Silver Gate, and this would be essentially the first day of summer. And we can also see how Mercury is still inside of the constellation of Taurus between the horns, and Uranus is still in the constellation of Aries. It's been there at the feet of the Lamb for a very long time. I believe it's an 84-year period that that it takes to do its full trek. So it's going to be there for a while. And then Jupiter, I believe Jupiter is now. What happened to Jupiter? I'm going to have to pull Jupiter up. Okay, here we go, fam. We're looking at Jupiter being in the constellation of Aquarius, and it has come to its point where I believe it is, yeah, it's in its, here we are here today. Let's go in really close so you can see how this is working. Jupiter is basically about to stand still in Aquarius, and I believe that this is a fulfillment of Scripture where it says to follow the man with the pitcher of water. And we're seeing Jupiter stand still on the summer solstice, and there's other scriptures that point to the escape, mentioning summer is nigh, and all of these things lead us to looking for the signs in the heavens. Those of you who are trained in Mazzaroth, that every little scripture and every little nugget that you find in scripture that can lead to Mazzaroth understanding, you're on Stellarium testing all those things out. And it's a wonderful and exciting process for those of you who have not gotten on Stellarium and had an opportunity to do this and learn these things. If it's just because you don't know how, in the comment section, go ahead and let me know that you'd like to see a video on basic operation of Stellarium, and I can show you how to use the one that I use, which is just the Stellarium web. It's really simple, it's really easy, it's fast. When you download the Stellarium program, it takes a lot more work to understand and to get to these signs quickly, and you have to have a lot more education on using the tools, and it takes a little bit of a learning curve. So I do this because it's very simple and easy and fast, and it gets me to the majority of the signs. There are some limitations, but if any of you would like to just learn how to use the Stellarium web, I can do a quick like a 15-minute video on instructions and give you guys the opportunity to learn how to do some of this basic work. I mean, it takes a lot more to learn the constellations themselves and how they all tie in, and the story. It's years and years and years of research that I've done. It's probably 20 plus years of learning the Mazzaroth and the signs, and how there's a storyline here that is it's far beyond our perception, because it includes the planets and the asteroids, and I believe that every part of the heavens is a story, and you could spend 100 lifetimes and you still would never learn all of the details of the story. I learn so many things each time I get on here, and or do another research study into another brother or sister's Maseroth research that they're doing, and there's always nuggets of wisdom in the other watchmen that are trained in Maseroth. There's probably too many of them for me to list, but if you would like to have recommendations of the people that I follow for that, you can put that in the comment section too, and I'll respond to you with some of the people that I follow on a regular basis that help me to quantify what the Spirit's showing me. The last 30 days I haven't been able to do any Maseroth research because I haven't had access to the internet, and with my health condition and my broken back, it's been really tough with the job I've had. I just been coming home just beat every day, so I haven't really had the energy or vitality or even the spiritual oomph to do anything. I finally have a break, and I'm going to be doing a lot more research and be doing a lot more videos and breaking down these signs. But Jupiter, we see here, is coming to a stop right in the middle of Aquarius, and to me that's a great and wondrous sign. Anybody who knows, these things only make their stops and their retrogrades and their positioning every so often. It's not a regular basis. And I've done a video before on Saturn and how Saturn currently is in retrograde within this part of Capricorn. And for those of you who have seen the video, you know that this part of Capricorn represents sacrifice. And I believe that this Saturn represents multiple things, but it's a sign of the Azazel goat. And we can see here that this is Capricorn is a dual meaning sign. The front end is a goat and the back end is a fish, and this front end is sacrifice. And you can take Capricorn in two different ways. You can look at it from the light perspective, which is Messiah is a representation of the goat that was sacrificed for us, and then the back end is resurrection or new life, and this is the fish side. It's coming to life, and that's the meaning from a Maseroth perspective. And then there's also the dark side message, which is this Baphomet. There's many people who have done videos on how Capricorn is a representation of the Baphomet goat. And if you do your research on Azazel and the angels that left their estate, the 200, then you can see how this all is tied to that Azazel goat. And as we look through the rest of the constellations, the only thing that we had seen was that Vesta moon alignment. So let's go ahead and go back to that, and let's get that on Meridian. And what we want to do here is show you some of the other signs that I found that are associated with this this Vesta moon alignment. For those of you who know, Vesta is a sign of a virgin, and the moon is also a representation of the bride, which is also a sign of a virgin. And then we also have sorry fam, I'm doing this in the dark and it's a little bit difficult. There we go. Okay. So those of you who have seen my videos before on Mary Magdalene and Amphitrite, then you'll know that Amphitrite represents Mary Magdalene, and this is also a sign of the bride. Mary Magdalene represents in multiple different ways a bride, and a one that's brought in as a virgin. She's made pure and spotless by Messiah, even though there's lots of stories of her having a lifestyle that was more than impure. We can see how Messiah makes all of us pure through his atoning work. And this right here is a sign. If you go back and you can watch my videos on all of the asteroids, then you'll see how what I'm showing you is Amphitrite, Ampleforth, Vesta. There are multiple what we would consider the virgins that are all showing up in this constellation Leo for this alignment tomorrow. And that's 6:54 a.m. Portland time. So adjust that for where you are. And that's a very special alignment. We're not showing these signs as, oh, here's our day of escape. I don't really go for the picking of dates. I do get excited over certain dates, but I'm not making that declaration that this is our day of escape. I don't believe that that's really necessary. I think what is necessary is that we continue to look for the signs each day. And when you tend to start picking dates and they come and go, you create a lot of excitement, but at the same time you create stumbling blocks, and you create a lot of problems for your own self because of credibility. So what I'm trying to do for the body of Messiah is to continue to show the signs each day that I have the opportunity to, and connect the dots and show you what Messiah is showing us in the heavens. And for me, these last couple months have been the most difficult time of my life, but I've never had a more deeply profound spiritual experience ever. Nothing even close And I believe it's all tied to what we're seeing right here in this constellation, that we have all of these, virgins, we'll say, even though none of us are impure. The Messiah makes us impure, and he knows our heart, those of us who are seeking him. And I think this right here is a sign of that, the marriage supper of the Lamb, and our blessed hope. What we're all seeking is this great wedding in heaven, where we can all partake in this great wedding. And I see Amphitrite being in the constellation of Leo now, and then also in 33 AD as a very, very special timing. It just doesn't. It's these kinds of things don't happen by accident. And when you can see these things happen in the heavens, it's like a storyline. It's like a book, certain bookends, and certain parts of the story nail it home for you on how wonderful our mighty Creator is. That this is all mathematical precision, and these things all happen at very, very exact timings for us to be able to have the signs. And I know how many of the watchmen get excited about the things that they find, whether it's a code, or whether it's news, or whether it's things in the Maseroth. I remember back in 2017 how much of a stir that Scotty Clark's Revelation 12 find created, and it's what really got me doing my Stellarium homework. I started doing Stellarium a couple years before that, but I wasn't doing it in depth as much as I did once Scotty found what he found, and then I went in deep, and I've been in deep ever since. And this is part of the work that I have been given, and so I hope it blesses your heart, and I hope you find these signs motivating, because to me, to be able to see these things, it gives me great joy, and I laugh and cry and jump up and down and go crazy whenever I see these things, because I understand the depth of the Maseroth and how incredible the story is. So on our next video, we're going to break down the constellation of Virgo, and we're going to show you how we came to the understanding of the celestial gospel.